In the teachings of Stoicism, everything begins with the self. If you want others to respect or value you, you must first embody self-respect at the highest level. This isn't about arrogance or external appearance. It's about mastering your thoughts, controlling your reactions, and standing firmly rooted in your principles. Too often, we chase validation from others while neglecting the foundational truth. No one will genuinely value you until you show them how by the way you value yourself. The Stoics believed that your self-worth is not determined by circumstances, praise, or recognition. It is developed internally, forged by virtue and discipline. When you respect yourself, you stop accepting half-love, broken promises, and conditional attention. You draw a clear line between what honors your values and what violates them. That line becomes your boundary. That boundary becomes your worth. And over time, people recognize that you are not someone to be taken lightly. Self-respect begins with how you speak to yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning that he would face criticism, ingratitude, and ignorance. He didn't let those realities change his character. That is the mindset of someone who honors their inner strength. When you walk through life with dignity, grounded in your own code of ethics, people may not always like you, but they will respect you. And more importantly, you will respect yourself. When others sense that you don't need their validation to feel whole, it creates an unspoken power. You are not desperate. You are not easily shaken. You are not begging for a seat at anyone's table. You are building your own. This kind of energy is not loud. It is quiet, calm, and deeply commanding. That calm becomes your presence. Your presence becomes your influence. One of the most powerful decisions you can make is to stop chasing those who overlook your worth. The more you overextend, the more people assume you have no limits. But the Stoic path is not about chasing. It's about attracting through stillness, discipline, and clarity. Every time you say no to something beneath your standards, you say yes to the life you're trying to build. You say yes to your growth, your purpose, your peace. There's a difference between being liked and being valued. Being liked is often based on surface behavior, how agreeable, entertaining, or convenient you are to others. But being valued comes from how authentic and reliable you are. It comes from the consistency with which you live your principles. When you stop bending to please and start living to lead with calm, deliberate action, you stop blending in. You become someone people observe, someone they trust, someone they take seriously. It's not about proving your worth to others. It's about realizing it yourself. Once you do, your decisions change, your standards rise, your circle tightens, your time becomes sacred. And because you treat yourself with that level of respect, the world around you begins to reflect it back. Not all at once, but slowly, surely, unshakably. You'll notice people begin to speak to you differently. They'll notice you're not easily flattered, nor easily moved by shallow praise. That's when they begin to adjust. That's when they start showing up with more presence, more effort, more respect. And if they don't, you'll be too grounded in your own truth to need it. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." In the same way, It is not the person who is unseen that lacks value. It is the person who seeks validation for their value that becomes diminished. True power comes from quiet assurance, from the kind of self-respect that cannot be bought, imitated, or shaken. So, if you want them to value you, don't convince them. Don't chase them. Don't shrink to fit what they might prefer. Rise. Stand tall in your truth. Set your boundaries with calm strength. Speak with intention. Act with discipline. Respect yourself so completely that they have no choice but to match your energy or lose access to it. That is the Stoic path. That is how they begin to value you, because you taught them how. In a noisy world where everyone is trying to be heard, silence has become a rare and powerful language. We're conditioned to believe that if we're not constantly explaining ourselves, proving our worth, or seeking approval, we'll be forgotten or overlooked. But the Stoics taught the opposite, that the most powerful person in the room is often the one who speaks the least, reacts the slowest, and moves with the most intention. When you live by Stoic principles, you begin to see the strength in restraint. Not every comment needs a response. Not every insult needs retaliation. Not every emotion deserves expression. There is dignity in holding your tongue, and there is power in mastering your reactions. When you choose silence over chaos, you immediately rise above the noise. You become someone others notice, not because you're loud, but because your quiet confidence is louder than their desperation. Approval seeking is a form of emotional slavery. It puts your self-worth in someone else's hands and waits for them to validate your existence. The Stoics understood that to be free, you must be inwardly anchored. You cannot allow the opinions of others to control the direction of your life. What they think of you is outside your control. And as Epictetus taught, what is outside your control should not disturb your peace. Silence is not weakness, it is control. And in that control is where influence is built. When you do not react emotionally, others begin to wonder what you are thinking. They become curious. They become cautious. In your restraint, they see strength. In your calm, they see something they cannot manipulate. The person who does not need approval becomes immune to rejection. That immunity makes you untouchable. Every time you pause before responding, every time you choose to stay calm in chaos, every time you decide not to chase attention, you grow stronger. You're teaching people something vital, that you are not moved by noise, and you are not cheap to impress. In fact, you are not looking to impress at all. You are here to live by your values, speak when it matters, and act with purpose. That makes you different. That makes you valuable. People tend to value what is rare. And in today's world, emotional restraint is rare. Purpose is rare. Focused energy is rare. Most are constantly distracted, reactive, desperate to be noticed. But when you practice the discipline of silence and self-control, you instantly set yourself apart. You become a mirror that reflects people's own emotional chaos. And ironically, that's when they begin to respect you more. Because they can sense that you don't need their applause to stay centered. You must understand that silence doesn't mean passivity. It means you're deliberate. You speak when the moment is right, and when you do, your words carry weight. That's how you influence. That's how you gain respect. not by demanding it, but by embodying it. You don't tell people you're powerful. You show them through your composure. The Stoics lived with purpose. Every action had intention. Every word was measured. That's the opposite of approval seeking, which is frantic and scattered. When you live for approval, you become a chameleon, changing your colors to fit your surroundings. But when you live with purpose, you are the constant. You are the standard. And people either meet you at your level, or they fall away. When you stop needing people to like you, you start attracting the right people. The ones who value substance over spectacle, character over charm. These are the people worth building with. These are the relationships worth keeping. And the only way to attract them is by living from a place of quiet strength and focused intention. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man of his time, writing reflections to himself, not to impress others, not to perform, but to stay grounded in who he was. That's real strength. That's leadership. He didn't need applause. He needed alignment. And so do you. In the end, your silence, your restraint, and your purpose will always speak louder than your words. They will reveal more than your explanations ever could. And they will shape the way others see you, not as someone who needs to be liked, but as someone who is already complete. Let the world chase noise. You chase clarity. Let others seek attention. You seek virtue. Let them speak to be heard. You act to be understood. That is the Stoic way. That is how you gain real value, not by seeking approval, but by mastering yourself.